Hey guys, welcome to my Frost 10.2 part 2 guide, this time looking at the dummy gameplay just to give a visual representation of what's going on. Yeah, I am hiding my damage details, it's not a coincidence, but yeah. So our opener, as you can tell over here, same thing that we talked about earlier, we're going to Frostbolt Flurry, Comet Storm into Ice Lance, so I'll pop our cooldowns, Ice Lance, Ray of Frost. Now I'm at 4 icicles, so I'm just going to cast 1 Ice Lance to get to 5, right? And then as soon as I'm at 5, I'm going to be GS Flurrying. And then I'm going to go straight into the orb. If you want to follow the infographic that I showed in part 1 to a T, you would Ice Lance one more time. I prefer to just orb into Shifting Power straight away. As you can tell, because of Double Lust, I get to consume my Ice Lance before it's wasted. Let me just rewind that a little bit so you can see. At this point, what's going in my head is, as I Ice Lance there, I have 2 icicles, 2 Ice Lance, so I know I'm going to hit 4 here. And I know that at 4, I just press Flurry, right? So this is kind of how you have to think ahead a little bit. You don't want to see how many Ice Lances you have at the end and then say, oh, I have 4. Too late, right, at that point. So already right now I'm at 3 and I have 1 more Ice Lance. I know I'm going to hit 4, so I know my next spell here is just a Flurry. So Flurry, we're at 5. So we're going to GS, and then obviously what's going to come after, because we have 2 into chill, it has to be an Ice Lance again. So GS Ice Lance. I have nothing left, so I'm going to Frostbolt Flurry, Ice Lance, Ice Lance. I have GS again, so I'm just going to GS, no Flurry proc. I cast Frostbolt. I have an Ice Lance again. I don't have a Flurry, so I'm just going to cast Ice Lance. I get another proc. I maybe could have reacted to that and Ice Lanced again, but it doesn't matter. I didn't get a Flurry proc, so I'm going to Frostbolt Ice Lance again. No proc once again, so I'm going to Frostbolt, start casting GS, and look, I got, Flurry proc. So I'm going to GS, Flurry, and as you can tell, my Comet Storm is available, so I know it's GS, Flurry, Comet Storm. Ice Lance, Flurry, once again, same thing, right? As I'm Ice Lancing, I'm taking stock of what I'm gonna be afterwards. I have 1 Winter's Chill left, and I'm already on 3, so I have to be ending at 4. So I know I'm gonna be pressing my Flurry at 4 again. Ice Lance Flurry, GS Ice Lance, Frostbolt Flurry, Ice Lance Ice Lance. I have 5 again, so GS Frostbolt, Frostbolt Flurry, GS Ice Lance. I maybe could have reacted to this Ice Lance here, but I didn't. This is double lust Icy Veins. I have like 200% haste right now. This is ridiculously fast paced. So, if you want to practice, you're new to this spec, just don't even lust with your Icy Veins. You can lust 1 maybe. Obviously, whether you double lust or not is up to you, and based on the fight timer and your talent choice, all of those do matter. So, yeah. But yeah, I could have reactivated to Ice Lance, but I didn't, so I end up casting Frostbolt. What is the rule? If you're casting Frostbolt, the only thing you always ever do right afterwards is Flurry, if you have it. So I'm going to Frostbolt Flurry, Ice Lance, GS. Now, if I had a Fingers of Frost here, I would not use it after this GS. Right? Very, 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 very important. A lot of people do not know this. Very unique, unintuitive interaction. If you have 1 Winter's Chill, you're casting GS and you have Fingers of Frost, your intuition might say, well, I'm going to GS, that's going to consume Winter's Chill, and then I'm going to have Fingers of Frost, so I'm going to GS Ice Lance, right? No. If you have a Winter's Chill here, sorry, if you have Fingers of Frost here, and only this 1 Winter's Chill, you GS into Frost Bolt. If you were to Ice Lance after the GS, your Ice Lance would consume Winter's Chill instead of GS. And then your GS will be very sad. So make sure you don't do this by accident. I see many, many people do this by accident. So GS Frostbolts. Frostbolt again, Flurry. Ice Lance, Ice Lance. GS Flurry. Ice Lance, Ice Lance. Frostbolt. GS. Flurry just... I could have flurried there actually. I don't know why I didn't. That was a mistake. Frostbolt Flurry. Ice Lance. Sorry. Comet Storm. So remember, this is the sync that we were talking about earlier. See, all my cooldowns came up at the same time. So it's once again Comet Storm, Ice Lance, Ray of Frost. And then same as the opener, we're going to press Ice Lance again. And then we're going to GS, Flurry. And then here I have 2 Fingers of Frost. So I have to consume 1 before I orb. So I'm going to consume 1 before I orb, and then I'm going to orb, Shifting Power. Now I could consume another before my orb. That could also be a correct play. It's up to you. There's probably a correct... I'm sure there's a correct answer. Do what you want, man. I'm not 100% optimal yet, so... But both of these are probably fine. GS Flurry, Comet Storm, Ice Lance, Ice Lance, Ice Lance, GS Flurry, Ice Lance, Ice Lance. In hindsight, I probably should have consumed both Fingers of Frost before I pressed my orb, because I did end up getting like overflowed quite a lot because I don't have Lust or Veins up. So I'm consuming my procs very slowly, which is bad. But yeah. The important takeaway from all this though, like that I'm trying to show, is that make sure you know your cooldowns are being synced very nicely when you play properly. I probably could have Ice Lanced here again once, right? If I reacted in time, I did not. I started casting Frostbolt, so what do you do after Frostbolt? Flurry. After Flurry, my Icy Veins are up, so I'm just gonna press Icy Veins, Ice Lance, Ice Lance, GS Flurry, Ice Lance, Ice Lance. I have nothing, so I'm gonna Frostbolt. In this situation, if you want to be like Giga Optimal, you're at 3 and you're casting Frostbolt, you could press Frostbolt and GS at the same time and see like if GS procs, maybe you start to GS if your Frostbolt, give you 2 icicles, but very minor. Frostbolt, Frostbolt, GS, Flurry. Once again, look. Common Storm, Ice Lance, Ray. Not a coincidence that they're synced, right? Ice Lance, Ice Lance, GS. I don't have Flurry, so I'm going to GS Orb. GS Orb, I'm going to Ice Lance, Frostbolt Flurry, GS. That was a misclick Ice Lance. Mistake. Should have been GS Ice Lance there, right? So GS, okay, this is the situation we were talking about earlier, right? I have GS, and I have 1 Winter's Chill, and I have Fingers of Frost. Remember, your intuition might tell you GS Ice Lance would be a mistake. Here you GS Frostbolt. If you Ice Lance there, your Ice Lance will consume Winter's Chill instead of GS, which is very bad. So we're going to Frostbolt, and now we're casting Frostbolt, so what do you have to do? You have 2 flurries, you have to consume a flurry. So Frostbolt, Flurry. Ice Lance, Ice Lance. You might tell me, well, Forgy, you're wasting 2 Ice Lances here. What's going on, man? Like, that seems like a terrible trade, right? No, because if you don't consume your flurry there, if you get a flurry proc, which is like a pretty high fucking chance, right? Then you're actually going to, each flurry is a 2 ice lances as well, right? And a bunch of icicles, which leads to GSs, which leads to more flurries. It's a huge feedback loop. Flurry is way more valuable than ice lances. Fingers of Frost ice lances are basically just glorified frostbolts with our current rotation, right? Our ice lances are not that important. Do not think of them as like, oh wow, this is a strong proc like in the olden days, We're not there yet anymore. Your GS, your Flurry are way more valuable. Flurry once again because that's 4. GS Ice Lance. I could have Ice Lanced again. I don't know why I didn't. It's just a mistake again, right? But that's casting Frostbolt, so what do you have to do? You always Flurry after Frostbolt. Ice Lance, Ice Lance. Do I shifting power here because I have it? No, because Comet Storm is less than 10-second cooldown, so we have to consume it first, right? GS, I don't get a proc, so Frostbolt Flurry, Comet Storm. Now I can shifting power. I did something a little weird here. This is probably right, actually. No, I'm supposed to Ice Lance Glacial Spike here, probably, rather than shifting power. As you can tell, now my cooldowns are still synced, right? They're like a little desynced, but it's going to be easy to resync them. Like for example, here I'm going to GS Flurry, and I'm going to Ice Lance. Did I get the random 1 Comet Storm like proc from my Flurry? No, so I'm not going to Ray of Frost here, right? Because I don't want to miss out 6% damage on Ray of Frost. So I'm just going to Ice Lance again. I'm just going to wait for my next Flurry, which should be pretty quickly, right? So Frostbolt Flurry, Comet Storm, sorry, GS instead of Ice Lance, right? Because I have 5, and then Ray of Frost. So I delayed Ray by like 5 or 6 seconds, but I get 6% more damage, and they're synced for the next use, which is really nice. So yeah, it's cool. Ice Lance, Orb. This here is where you'll see what I was talking about in the earlier part. Like, I like to Orb with 1 Ice Lance already on me, like with 1 Fingers of Frost, because look, now I'm gonna get to consume 1, 2. By the time I can even cast again, I can already have my 3rd Ice Lance, right? Which is really nice. Otherwise, this Ice Lance might go to waste. Unfortunately, I do have to Flurry again there, so I do waste the precast, but it's not a big deal. GS Ice Lance, Ice Lance again, Ice Lance again, Frostbolt Flurry. It just lines up a lot better in my opinion if you can Frozen Orb with 1 Fingers of Frost up. Anyway, GS Ice Lance, Fingers of Frost, Frostbolt Flurry, Ice Lance, GS. What did we say here? If I had Fingers of Frost, you wouldn't press it. Now this is a cool experiment here. Let's rewind a little second. Imagine here, after this Ice Lance, I had Comet Storm available, like right now. Imagine if my Comet Storm was 1 second earlier on cooldown. Here, normally, you might think, well, you cannot Flurry, or you cannot Comet Storm because you have only one Winter's Chill, right? Not two. If you Flurry now, your Comet Storm will not land in Winter's Chill, right? That is incorrect in this specific situation because GS is a longer cast time, a lot longer cast time than Ice Lance, and the longer cast time of Ice Lance, of GS compared to Ice Lance, sorry, will buy time for Winter's Chill, or Flurry to land in Winter's Chill. So you can see it's a 2 second cast time instead of a 1 second GCD, right? So here, if I did have Comet Storm, I could Comet Storm into GS, right? Even though I only have one Winter's Chill. If I didn't have GS, if I Comet Storm Ice Lance, it's over, right? It's very bad. But here, because I had GS, it would be okay. Obviously, I didn't either way anyway. I GS, Frostbolt Flurry. Truth be told, I don't know how the hell I just got this Fingers of Frost proc. Actually, let me rewind. How did I get this Fingers of Frost? Huh? Does GS have a chance to proc Fingers of Frost? What the hell? Oh, I guess because GS consumes icicles, Flash Freeze makes GS proc Fingers of Frost. Interesting. Alright, news to me. There you go, even more reason to ignore Fingers of Frost relative to Flurries and GS's. Hell yeah. We learned today in this stream. Alright, back to the VOD. Frostbolt Flurry, Comet Storm, Ice Lance, GS, yeah. I'm gonna IV, Frostbolt, Flurry, Ice Lance. I have shifting power, so I'm just gonna press it. If you do have my weak aura package, by the way, this is a very useful part of the weak aura package, is when the conditions of shifting power are met, so when the 3 mini cooldowns, which is funnily by the way why they're all in the middle, is for visual representation. When all of them are 10 seconds or greater cooldown, or Icy Veins is 20 seconds or less cooldown, my shifting power glows red. The glow red means you're good to cast it. If you don't see the red glow, it means you shouldn't cast it. If you do see the red glow, it means you should cast it. So it just kind of makes it a little bit, you don't have to think. Yes, Flurry, Ice Lance. Frostbolt Flurry, Comet Storm, GS, Ray, right? Then I'm gonna Ice Lance. I'm probably gonna Orb here, but like we talked about earlier, it's probably better in outside of Double Lust to consume your Fingers of Frost before you press Orb. Here I do have Icy Veins, so there might be more merit to Orbing here specifically, especially since I don't have Icy Veins up, or Shifting Power ready, sorry. So maybe this Orb is actually correct. Frostbolt Flurry, GS Ice Lance. GS Flurry, Ice Lance, sorry. I'm mixing up my words, apologies. Flurry. You can see my cast bar on the side here, my spell timeline, weak aura. But yeah, you guys get the gist now. Like, this is just repeating, right? If you want to practice this spec, I really recommend starting off with no double lust, no regular lust even. Just play with veins and no veins. If you're really new, just play even without veins. Just get used to it, right? Get used to the core rotation and understand what's supposed to happen. Really stick to the rotation. I really recommend record yourself. And then when you're looking back at your VOD, figure out what kind of intuitive mistakes you're making. Like, your intuition and your mind is telling you to do something, but it's not correct. And you'll only be able to understand that it's not correct when you watch the VOD, right? So you'll be able to compare, look at the VOD and you'll say, okay, what did I do here? Is this wrong? Let me compare to the priority in part 1, right? And then you'll be able to figure out whether you're supposed to be doing something else or not, and how to reorient your priority list in your mind, yeah? But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the whole video. I hope this has been, informative, helpful, whatever. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'm not going to reply to questions to what spec is the best in 10.2. I'm not going to tell you because they're all good. Play whatever you want. If you're not in a top 10, top 20 guild, you shouldn't care because you playing whatever you're best at and what you have most fun is going to lead to you doing more damage. So if you want to do more damage, play what you want. Sorry, a little rant because a lot of people are asking me that comment and I'm not going to answer you properly. Play what you want, play what you have fun. It's a game. It's a video game. Stop meta chasing. I had this analogy I liked. I said meta chasing is like watching a surgeon do surgery, and then your friend coughs, and then you stab him and tell him, I saw someone else do it and it fixed them. That's not how it works, right? Obviously. So, yeah. Anyway, hope this video has been informative, like I was talking about from my rant here. Yeah. Make sure you watch Manith's content for Frost Mage stuff. This is probably my only Frost Mage content, so yeah. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.